This is When You Were Everything, chapter Duh, pages 308 to 313. Duh. I'm pacing around the living room, trying to digest what my mother just told me. I'm relieved this is the half-truth my father was keeping hidden, that he was involved with someone else. At least it wasn't a student, but the fact that it was my favorite teacher feels like an even bigger betrayal. I'm still trying to figure out how to deal with the part of the puzzle when our apartment buzzer rings. I don't answer it at first, assuming it's a delivery person paging the wrong apartment. But then it rings again and again, so I go to the door and press the button for the intercom. "Hello?" I ask. "Oh, thank God," Sydney replies. "I thought I was going to have to search the whole city for you." "Let us up," a second voice says. Willa. "What are you guys doing here?" "What do you think, you weirdo? There's an awful rumor going around about your dad. You locked yourself in the bathroom, and then you disappeared from school, and you haven't been answering any of our texts." "We sent a lot of texts," Willa adds. "You didn't have to come," I tell them, my voice getting a little shaky. Truth is, I'm touched. "Everything's fine," I lie. "Oh my God, Cleo," Sydney says. I can imagine her rolling her eyes. "I just can't with you." I look through my window, but I can't see them. They must be right up against the door. "Yeah, sorry. That isn't even remotely true. Everything's a mess," I say, leaning my head on the wall above the intercom. Willa starts to chant, "Let us up! Let us up! Let us up!" I let them up. When I open the door, Willa immediately slips off her shoes and leaves them by the door. Her socks are covered in smiling avocados. She wraps me in a hug. "Geez, kid, we were worried about you," she says. Sydney doesn't wait for her to let go before she wraps her arms around me, too. "You left school?" I say, my voice muffled by the wool of Sydney's peacoat and the puff of Willa's parka. "For me?" "Duh," Sydney says. Willa coughs. "Sid, I can't really breathe." Sydney lets us both go. "Sorry." They take off their coats, tossing them onto the couch, and I lead them down the short hallway to my room. Willa pads over to my shelf of snow globes and shakes one right after the other, so that by the time I settle beside Sydney on my bed, the fake flakes and glitter in all of them are swirling. Willa sits cross-legged at my feet and leans her head against my knee. And Sydney scoots closer, slipping her arm around my shoulders. We watch the snow spin, and I don't realize I'm crying. Until Sydney uses the edge of her sweater sleeve to wipe my cheeks. "I'm so glad you guys are here," I whisper, and they both, somehow, move even closer to me. I'm not ready to tell them what my mom told me about Miss Novak, but I do tell them that the rumor isn't true. "We never thought it was," Willa said softly. I tell them what Valeria told me, that Sloane started the rumor about my family to get back at me for the email I sent months ago. When Sydney says, "That email came from you? That doesn't seem like you," I realize I never told her the whole story. And in that moment, I decide to, because keeping secrets and telling lies is exactly how I ended up in this mess in the first place. I started at the beginning of summer at the 4th of July party where Layla and I first met Sloane. And even though I'm terrified of what they might think of me once the truth is in this room sitting between us, I tell them everything. "So," I say, taking a deep breath after my whole ugly past has been revealed, "I decided I didn't want to miss her anymore. She wasn't worth the pain or whatever, and I'd already ruined everything anyway. That's why I started with this whole making new memories thing." "Dang," Sydney says. "That's way worse than I thought things had been. It was messed up for you to send that email, but also I kinda totally get it. I'm so sorry, Cleo," she says, reaching for my hand and squeezing it. She tosses her hair and then looks up at me. "So when are we going to murder Sloane?" I laugh a little, but Willa doesn't say anything. She's picking at my carpet. "There's this Shakespeare quotation," I continue. "Make not your thoughts your prison." And I guess I was just trying to stop that from happening, you know? I was trying to think less about Layla and everything that happened. I'm always trying my hardest not to think about it, You're actually the first people I've ever told the whole story to, and I'm terrified you'll see me differently now. I take a deep breath and steady my nerve. Do you? I ask. Sydney shakes her head and smiles slowly. Willa just rolls her eyes. Nah, Sydney says. You're stuck with us now, Willa agrees. Sydney asks where the bathroom is a few minutes later, and I point her in the right direction. Once she's gone, I slide onto the floor to sit beside Willa. Are you okay? I ask her. She's been quiet for a while now, and even though it feels like we've known each other forever, we haven't really. I don't know her moods or what they mean yet. She looks at me, shrugs, and then lies down and stares up at the ceiling. I follow suit, our heads side by side, our bodies pointing in opposite directions. You ever feel like you can't miss someone without missing every person you've ever lost? Willa asks. I twist my head to look at her. Because of the way we're arranged on the floor, I can't see what her face looks like. Only her profile, her messy, too long bangs getting tangled in her straight eyelashes. Her small nose and the pointed corners of her mouth. She keeps staring at the ceiling. I think of Gigi. That's exactly what I feel like, I finally say. That's exactly what I feel like all the time. Stuff's dark, she says. So I get why you wanted to, erase Layla by going to all those places and doing more memorable stuff. I nod, my braids dragging a little on the carpet. Thing is, Willa continues, you kind of have to go through the dark to be sure you're okay. And while I get the sentiment behind your project, why not just make brand new memories instead of overwriting old ones? You don't have to erase the bad things to be happy. Besides, the dark stuff is important to remember too. I look at my snow globes. I blink away tears as I think of all that I've lost. Willa props herself up on her elbows and shakes her bangs out of her eyes. She hurt you bad. Let yourself feel it, and everything that comes with it. When I glance over at her, she puts her hand on my shoulder. I just nod. Oh my God, guys, Sydney says, rushing back into my bedroom. I sit up fast. What? Someone posted about the rumor. Willa hops up and snatches Sydney's phone from her. Oh no, this is bad. If anyone sees this. Willa glances at me through her bangs. What? I ask, my eyes flying from Sydney's face to Willa's and back again. What would happen? There would probably be some kind of investigation if, authorities saw it, right? No way that would happen. It's not even true, I say. Willa shrugs. I don't think that matters, dude. Can we prove that it isn't? They both stare at me, and the one person who can prove it pops into my head like lightning. Novak.